It's a wonderful day in the homiehood, a wonderful day for a homie. Won't you be my homie to Taro? Oh, let's see. Pierre Poilievre is addressing his party's caucus right now. This might be worth watching. Just for, since I have a YouTube channel that triggers conservatives, I can make some more React content here. Some easy React content just by dunking on Pierre Poilievre. Let's see what we got. Ooh. That's their boy. That's their boy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a con convention.
Bonne année à tout le monde. Qu'est-ce qui se passe dans notre pays?
There's a nasty 24-hour thing going around your neck of the woods. Is there really? That's good to know, Purple Mavis. I hope genuinely. I don't think it's COVID. But we're not sure. We're obviously taking some precautions. I hope it is just a 24-hour thing for my partner's sake.
Une grande augmentation dans la criminalité.
French? What is this? Closed captions unavailable.
Le coût de la vie, les morts à cause des drogues, le chaos total dans nos aéroports et notre système de rail.
I have no idea what he's saying. My French is horrible. This is why I'll never be prime minister. Your friend in Beaverton had it and her kid? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Tout semble être brisé. Oh! Justin Trudeau sera offusqué que j'ai dit ça. Il pense que si on parle pas des problèmes.
What is going on in our country? I'll tell you what's going on, all right? Justin Trudeau, he wants you to pay more money into your retirement plan, okay?
Qu'il a causé que ces problèmes seront oubliés. En fait, il a dit que je ne devrais jamais parler de ces problèmes-là parce que les Canadiens n'ont jamais eu aussi bien la vie. Il a dit dans un grand discours devant 2000 lobbyistes et adjoints politiques libéraux à une levée de fonds.
I think I picked up something there. 2 million liberal lobbyists. Is that true? Are there 2 million liberal lobbyists in Ottawa?
Ici à Ottawa, des gens payent $500 pour l'écouter. Il a dit que les choses n'ont jamais été.
They all have lobbyists? True. Yeah, I think that's what he said. Yeah. Yeah, they all have lobbyists. I think there is a conservative lobbyist convention in Ottawa this weekend, is there not? It's like the 1-year anniversary of the conservative lobby.
Aussi bien. Et savez-vous quoi? Il a raison. Pour les gens dans cette salle, c'était jamais aussi bien que maintenant. Les 2000 personnes dans la salle qui ont reçu une augmentation de contrats de lobbying et de consultation de 100% depuis son arrivée au pouvoir. Pour eux, ça va très bien. Une augmentation, plus de 15 milliards de dollars qu'on dépense sur des contrats.
Something about $5 million? I don't know.
Pour des consultants qui sont payés des fois 1500 dollars chaque jour. En fait,
there are 8,000 registered lobbyists in Canada. That's too much. We need to get that number below zero.
C'est 15 milliards de dollars. 15 milliards de dollars, ça c'est 1000 dollars pour chaque famille canadienne. Les Mackenzie, ça va bien pour Mackenzie, n'est-ce pas? Ça va très bien pour Mackenzie.
Mackenzie is very good. 84% work for nonprofits. That doesn't mean they don't have a conflict of interest though, right?
Contrat de 100 millions de dollars, une augmentation 50 fois plus élevée qu'avant Justin Trudeau. Oui, vous avez raison. Pour vos petits amis libéraux, Justin, ça va très bien. Mais
something is very good. And it's not Justin Trudeau. I'll tell you that much.
Il y a de la souffrance dans les visages, Justin, que vous ne voyez pas. Il y a la peine dans les voix que vous n'entendez pas. Il y a la détresse et désordre dans les endroits que vous n'allez pas. Et si vous ne me croyez pas,
I think they're really PP and the conservatives, like they're really trying to court the Quebec vote right now, right? They're trying to kind of test the waters because obviously if they want to win a general election, they're going to need some people in Quebec getting on board.
Venez avec moi.
But also somebody like I think they're polling really badly in Quebec as well. So that's probably why they're trying so hard. You should get someone to hop on the Discord and live translate. Yes. Yes, we should. One day we'll have those types of resources. Or we could just wait till tomorrow and there's probably going to be like a translated version of this. But that would be funny.
Au centre d'épicerie, où j'étais hier soir, j'ai rencontré un cuisinier qui m'a dit qu'il va devoir retarder sa retraite.
I heard retardé. I'm pretty sure he's saying that Justin Trudeau is a retard.
À cause de l'augmentation dans le coût de la vie. Mais savez-vous quoi, Justin? Qu'est-ce qu'il a brisé? C'est le fait, comme cuisinier,
Pardon my French. Pardon my French.
il ne peut pas acheter les mêmes ingrédients pour se nourrir à sa maison qu'il utilise au travail.
The fuchsia tie, it's because he's moving to the center. He's becoming a red conservative. That's why. Right? He's meeting them somewhere in the middle.
C'était une attaque contre sa fierté personnelle. Si vous ne me croyez pas qu'il y a la souffrance dans notre pays, cher Justin, venez avec moi dans le nord de l'Ontario, où les personnes âgées doivent vivre.
He said grocery store employees were going to have to defer retirement. What? He wants PPC votes. True. Maybe it's a purple tie. And symbolism. This is just like anime. I would love to see a federal politics anime with like Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, and Jagmeet Singh just being like schoolboys and like having beef at their school.
Dans le froid parce qu'ils peuvent pas payer.
We need to make that game.
Votre taxe carbone sur leur chauffage, ou même aux personnes âgées au Québec qui ont faim parce qu'ils peuvent pas payer l'augmentation de 12% dans un an pour la nourriture parce que vos taxes sur l'engrais.
When is he gonna get to English? I thought he would have switched to English by now. Jeez. Fun fact: 600 lobbyists are oil lobbyists. Holy crap, that's a lot.
Ont augmenté le coût de nourriture. Venez.
And like I know some of them are like former politicians too, aren't they? Isn't the law like really lax about the amount of time you can spend like the time transitioning between being like a politician and a lobbyist? It's only like a couple months or something, or at the very least it's like only 1 year, which is like nothing.
Avec moi, cher Justin, pour parler aux étudiants qui vivent dans les centres d'hébergement parce qu'ils ne peuvent pas payer le 2000 $ de loyer.
$2 million.
Que ça coûte pour un petit appartement d'une chambre. Vous nous avez donné une augmentation de 100% dans le loyer en 7 ans. Oui, c'est vous, Monsieur
I didn't realize the conservatives love French so much.
Trudeau, qui a causé ces augmentations-là. Venez avec moi pour parler aux familles des 30 000 personnes qui ont perdu une proche à cause des drogues. Venez avec moi parler aux familles des immigrants qui essaient de commanditer un membre de famille, mais qui attendent depuis des mois et des mois, en même temps que vous permettez 80.
You get the 5-figure job to get this 6-figure job, to sit on the board for 7 figures and 2 golden pensions. Damn, it sounds like you get a partridge and a pear tree at the end too.
10 000 personnes à traverser la frontière illégalement au chemin de Roxham. Venez avec moi, cher Justin, pour parler aux victimes de la criminalité qui souffrent à cause de l'augmentation en criminalité de 32% depuis votre arrivée en pouvoir. Venez avec moi. Parlez aux gens qui ont perdu leurs vacances parce que le désordre dans notre système de transport fédéral est totalement chaotique. Mais Justin va dire qu'il n'est pas responsable pour tout cela. C'est quelqu'un d'autre. Il est juste en pouvoir depuis 8 ans. Ce n'est pas raisonnable de s'attendre à ce qu'un premier ministre fédéral soit responsable pour le code criminel fédéral. Ce n'est pas responsable de s'attendre à ce qu'un premier ministre...
Thanks, Gordon K. You like my translations? I appreciate that. How is he allowed to campaign like this when there is no election in sight? I have no idea. Conservatives are just praying for an election.
fédéral soit responsable pour les aéroports fédéraux. Ce n'est pas raisonnable de s'attendre à ce qu'un premier ministre fédéral soit responsable pour l'inflation qui est causée par les dépenses du gouvernement fédéral. Mais si Justin Trudeau n'est pas capable de rien faire dans ces dossiers-là, pourquoi est-ce qu'il est là? Pourquoi est-ce qu'il est là? Il ne peut rien faire.
I think right there he just said, qu'est-ce que fuck? He's like, what the fuck? Yo, what the fuck?
Cher Justin, les Canadiens méritent
Oh
mieux. Ça,
my
c'est le
God,
Canada.
I thought
Le
they
Canada, oui,
clapped. I thought they finally clapped and he was going to switch to English. They're like, good job. You did it in French. Now, please, just do it in English. We live in the age of constant campaigning. They never stop. We're supposed to not have that in Canada, though. It seems like we've now become like American politics style. He needs to embrace the accent and sound more Gatineau. I can't even say that word. Gatineau. It's exhausting. Enough profanity to be a true French cuss.
Les gens devraient pouvoir accomplir leur rêve. Ça, c'est le Canada. Les Canadiens et les Canadiens sont...
Okay, now do it in English.
On va convertir la peine que Justin Trudeau a causée en espoir capable de travailler fort et réaliser nos rêves.
He's
On a les
really
municipalités de permettre davantage de construction des légaux. Quand les immigrants viennent ici, ils auront l'occasion
going
de même pour réaliser
off.
leurs rêves. Et tout le monde, on va contrer, on va rétablir l'espoir que Justin Trudeau a enlevé. Seriously.
Seriously. Okay, here we go. Finally.
Thank
we
you.
got some English. Some good old Canadian English.
What's happening in our country? Seriously.
Qu'est-ce que fuck?
Look around you. Crime is raging out of control in our streets. Our people are desperate that they'll have to lose their homes because of rising inflation and interest rates the government promised would never happen.
Okay, look around you. Oh shit. Am I even Canada anymore? Also have bad news about who is wanting an election. All right, let's see what this is, Cortan. Liberal Party. Our team is focused on the priorities that matter most to Canadians and working every day to build on our progress to keep Canada moving forward. Joining us in welcoming our newest Team Trudeau candidates. Meet your neoliberal candidates, it says here. Oh, what does this even mean? New candidates? Candidates for what? Yeah. Like, do they actually want another election? Didn't we just have an unnecessary election? Do we need this? Pierre Poilievre is giving a totally different message in English. Too bad his provincial cohort board lifted rank control. Yeah, that's like ridiculous. They keep saying this thing that Trudeau promised that they would never raise interest rates. The federal government doesn't control economic policy in that way. So honestly, it would be really stupid for them. I still have never seen the receipts on Trudeau saying like, I will never raise interest rates. Like, cause no prime minister would ever do that because it would be really stupid because you don't even have any control over that. Zizek sniff. It is the teleology of the liberal democratic system. I don't know. I don't know enough about Zizek to know the memes. They want you exhausted. Low turnout favors cons. True. Also, Mona Fortier and Jenna Suds, at the very least, are already MPs. Oh, are they? I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know who these people are. So good to know though that some of them are already MPs. I guess they're also candidates. Are we running? Are we running? I don't think the NDP wants an election right now either. So, yeah. Mona is your MP. Okay. Is she good? Is she any good? Probably better than the conservative alternative.
People are losing loved ones at record rates.
People are losing loved ones at record rates. Why? Why, Pierre?
To violent crime.
Oh, I thought he was going to talk about COVID and how we need to take more preventative measures and invest in healthcare. The Liberals have a plan for pharmacare. Have to have a plan for pharmacare or we will be having an election. True. I guess that is on part of the supply and confidence agreement, right? Mona Fortier infamously is the person who gave the order for federal civil servants to get back to work or not even just get back to work, get back to the office, even though they were doing their job at home perfectly fine. But just think about our empty office space, Core 10K. We can't just like let that office space go empty because well, we don't have a good reason, but they might go on strike is apparently what we were hearing yesterday.
And drug overdoses. And families who've been locked down for 2 years because of
Okay, so people are dying from those things. They're dying from drug overdoses, but they're not dying from COVID. Like people, like I don't know, just like make it make sense, Pierre.
COVID are now locked down at airports when they try to get away for a small vacation.
Oh no, oh no! Somebody please think of the families going on vacation.
Everything feels broken. Oh,
He keeps saying this.
I just offended Justin Trudeau.
Okay.
He gets very angry when I talk about these problems. He thinks that if we don't speak about them out loud, that Canadians will forget that they exist. He said this to me in a very angry speech right before Christmas, where he told
Oh no, not right before Christmas.
2,000 Liberal lobbyists and political staffers and consultants who'd paid $500 to listen to him speak, the Canadians have never had it so good. And you know what? For the people in that room, he's absolutely right. They have
This is such a ridiculous line of reasoning. Like, oh yes, those liberal elites. No, like the only difference is that they want conservative elites and not liberal elites. And well, from where I'm sitting, they're all conservative, but
never had it so good. The $1,000 a day consultants at McKinsey have never had it so good. In fact, the consulting contracts that he's given up have gone up 100% in the 8 years since he took office. Justin, these people are very grateful to you. That's why they are donating so much to your party. The lobbyists, whose contracts have also increased by 100%. Justin, they've never had it so good either. All the political staffers around the Hill that are giving out these contracts to their long-term friends, they've never had it so good either. And with your $6,000 a night hotel rooms, you've never had it so good yourself, Justin.
I still just can't bring myself to care. Like, I can criticize Justin Trudeau for a lot of things, but I just cannot bring myself to care about the $6,000 a night one-time hotel when the Queen of Canada died. Oh wait, sorry, it wasn't the Queen of Canada. It's the Queen of the Commonwealth. Queen of Canada is somebody else. Don't mention the Fraser Institute though. Are they like the conservative lobbyists and like fundraising wing or something? I don't even know. Also, as someone in Eastern Ontario, I assure you that basically everything Poilievre says about his riding are total bullshit. Like when he said his riding is urban Ottawa. Yeah, that's a lie. Is it not urban? It's suburban, no? Also, Doug Ford paid McKinsey a shitload to develop their horrifying COVID strategy. True. Right, he's the prime minister. Yeah, I know. I don't know I don't know what they expected. As if like Stephen Harper wouldn't be paying similar prices, and or Pierre Poilievre, if he ever becomes prime minister, hopefully not, would not have to pay very similar prices. So it's just pretty silly.
But let me tell you something, Justin. There is pain in the faces you do not see. There is suffering in the
pain. There is pain. It is true. There is a lot of pain. And as we kind of talked about yesterday with Colin, the conservatives and the alt-right are doing a good job of making a name for themselves off of this pain and using it to mobilize their base. The left, in so much as it exists, is not doing such a great job. Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau, they're not doing such a great job saying, hey, you're in pain and we have the solutions. Unfortunately, this man right here resonates with a lot of Canadians who are kind of unable to see through the grift. Good morning, Uncivi engineer. Trudeau staying in an Airbnb, exactly. Like, and I'm pretty sure that also the English Secret Service said they specifically had to stay in like specific hotels, and because those are the places that they could like guarantee that these world leaders who were all convening had to stay. So I don't know, just a silly waste of time to be talking about where Justin Trudeau is singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Ottawa city limits are huge. You can drive west nearly an hour before hitting the next township. And Poilievre represents a considerable amount of space populated by a relatively small number of people. You don't say. That is good to know.
The voices you do not hear. And there is distress and even chaos in the places you do not go. If you don't believe me, come with me over to the
Ew. I don't want to come with you.
Local grocery store in East End, Ottawa, where I was last night, where a
Wow. He's just an everyday Canadian. He even goes to the grocery store all by himself.
60-year-old plus cook came up to me with tears in his eyes to tell me he has to delay his retirement. But you know the thing that really broke him? That he can no longer afford the very ingredients to cook at home that he works with in his job at work.
Man, was it Jordan Peterson? Was Jordan Peterson at the grocery store and he's like crying?
Justin, if you don't believe me, come to Northern Ontario and ask the elderly woman who lives in the cold because your carbon tax has made it too expensive for her to heat her home. If you don't believe me, Justin, come speak to the students who live in homeless shelters while they go to school, because the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto after 8 years of your leadership is $2,500 a month.
I mean, again, that is like a Dougie Ford problem. That is a conservative built problem as well. As somebody said, Doug Ford lifting the rent restrictions or rent control policies here in Ontario. Yeah, you know what? Maybe those would be nice to have back.
That's more than a 100% increase since you took office, and you've done absolutely nothing to incentivize the construction of new and affordable homes for our young people. If you don't believe me, Justin, go to the food banks, where 1.5 million people go to eat in a given month. Stay around long enough. You might hear from some of the people who come to the food bank asking for help getting medical assistance and dying, not because they're sick, but because they're too poor and too miserable after 8 years of your leadership to go on living like this. If you don't believe me, Justin, go talk to the families of the 30,000 people who've lost a loved one to drug overdoses after you favored policies that flooded our streets with heroin and fentanyl, and you tied the hands of our police and prevented them from doing anything about it. After you
Justin Trudeau was tying the hands of police? That actually makes me like him more.
Failed to hold the scumbag corporations who brought these drugs to our streets accountable.
I saw a documentary about this last night. I don't see how Pierre Poilievre is going to hold the Sackler family accountable. And, they basically failed to hold them accountable already in the US. I don't know what can actually be done about this at this point. But, the thing that bothers me so much about PP and his speech is that he just is a finger pointer. He doesn't actually have any solutions. Like, I want to hear some solutions. I want to hear something that's like, you know what? I actually agree with him on that point and something needs to be done about this. But he's just like, Justin Trudeau is bad, and like, I'm like, okay, well, I do agree with you on that, but I need to know that someone is capable of doing a better job. Otherwise, Justin Trudeau continuing to be prime minister is just like harm reduction, right? Corten here saying, Purple Mavis saying Ford stagnated minimum wage. Yeah, that too. It would be nice if we all got paid more so that we could afford to pay for our living situations. Because we have no left, the far right is free to expropriate our talking points. Yeah, that is something that is so frustrating too. Because the CPC invests in mental health. Yes, that's right, Lady Deathstrike. The Conservatives, famous for funding mental health. Just in case you don't know that I am being sarcastic here. Also, at this point, Conservatives are far right to me, unless there's proof otherwise. Yeah, I agree. Like the Liberals to me are not even like centrist. They are the Conservatives. So, and especially the way that PP has branded himself coming in and appealing to the base on the far right. Like, I do just consider this a far right movement that has established itself into Canadian politics. So his platform is "You hate JT and so do I," And I mean, yeah, it's true. And like in some cases, your enemy's enemy is your friend, but not in this case. Conservatives tend to not even believe in help for mental illness and addiction. Yeah, like if you've seen Pierre Poilievre's video about safe supply, like basically he doesn't believe in harm reduction or safe supply, and he has no interest in the actual solutions to these problems. Apologize in advance for your potty mouth. No worries, no worries.
Companies like McKinsey, Mr. Trudeau, companies to whom you continue to give $100 million worth of contracts.
What would they do if they were in power? You think conservatives would not be giving out $100 million contracts or contracts to their friends? They just have like different friends. Actually, they have the same friends.
Mr. Trudeau, if you don't believe me, go to the now permanent encampments that have taken over large parts of formerly prosperous and bustling communities in our cities like Vancouver, Toronto, and Peterborough. If you don't believe...
Hey, yo! We got the shout out. We got the shout out from PP.
Communities in our cities like Vancouver, Toronto, and Peterborough.
That's right. The 3 largest Canadian cities: Vancouver, Toronto, and Peterborough. Bow, 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 bow.
If you don't believe me, take a trip to the City Transit, Mr. Trudeau, in Toronto.
Take a trip to the City Transit,
where 40 homeless people are forced to spend the night because your policies have made it impossible for them to get home, where crime now rages out of control and women say they're afraid to even get on the train. On June 17th, the Toronto TTC, a woman in her 20s, died of her injuries after she was set on fire.
That was a shout out to the far right in Peterborough. Sorry to say. Peterborough doesn't matter otherwise except for the hold fast. Oh no. You really think so? Oh, that's so sad. That's why it's important that we cover this BS. We vote for the actual Team Purple by flip-flopping between these two busted ass parties. Yeah, sadly. Again, Ford policy. Yes. I like for once I mean, honestly, this is not a problem, not just a problem with the Conservative Party. Like I would love to see Jagmeet Singh call out the NDP provincial government in British Columbia. Like they've done some really bad things that I think are antithetical to the federal NDP, but you never see it. For once, it would be so refreshing to be like, yeah, let's hear a federal leader call out their provincial colleague.
December 8th, a fatal stabbing on Line 2 train at High Park Station left a 31-year-old woman dead and injured. The suspect was wielding an ice pick. If you don't believe me, Mr. Trudeau, get on one of those trains and talk to the people who will tell you the story of a woman who was stabbed in the head and face on a Spadina streetcar.
Oh, I hate this fear-mongering.
Just south of Bloor Street.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
He was taken to hospital with life-altering injuries. These are not one-off stories, Justin. Crime is up 32% since you took office. Violent gang crime up 92% after 8 years in office.
Is that true? Is that true? I actually just want to know. Crime in Canada. Crime rate in Canada. Macro trends, 1990. Okay, so here's, I guess, what I'm seeing. I don't know. I can't say for certain how accurate this is, but according to this website, who I'm not going to disable my ad blocker for, 2020 was a 7.2 increase, 2019 3.16 increase, 2018 was okay. So we are seeing a potential increase from the time that Justin Trudeau took office. However, as any proponent of Bitcoin will tell you, well, why don't you just take a look at the long-term trend? It's down now, but it's changing now, but over the long term, it's gone down. So, I suppose these trends are a little concerning, but again, this is this is not just something that you can pin on Justin Trudeau. You know, we have to remember that these are times of economic downturn and worldwide disease. So it kind of does make sense that crime would go up during these times, right? The thing that they always tend to forget talking about is COVID. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lady Deathstrike. Is like, do you think this novel virus that is tearing through the world might have something to do with these numbers? Like, can we at least put this into some additional context other than this is Trudeau's fault? Um, the police have an incentive to inflate crime rates as well. Yeah, exactly. You know what else happened during this time of supposedly increased crime? An entire global movement to defund the police that was called Black Lives Matter. It was like the biggest social movement that we've seen in decades in terms of civil rights. So if you think crime is really a problem, like, do you really think that this Black Lives Matter defund the police movement would have been as popular as it was? I really don't think so. In a lot of cases, I think police um, police are the ones committing these crimes, in my opinion. Despite being massively overfunded already, is somehow getting more money in Toronto because of rising crime. Yeah, and same here in Peterborough. Our liberal mayor is considering giving the police more money to, I don't know, to do nothing in terms of crime rate. And actually, we know that increased funding to police and increased police presence, it's not something that actually prevents crime, because police don't prevent crime. They show up after the crimes have already been committed, and like 20 times out of 20, they don't even find the perpetrator. So wish I had a citation in Canada's crime rate in the last 30 years, so take that with a grain of salt. Fair. When poverty goes up, so does crime. Yes, exactly. And that is the core issue that for some reason in Canada, we're never able to address is poverty and the standard of living. Right? So like, why don't we, if crime is so bad, why don't we have a universal basic income? If crime is so bad, why don't we have more protection for renters? If crime is so bad, why don't we have a law that prevents landlords from snatching up every house, and allowing Canadians to have a more sustainable living situation? Technically, Poilievre is right. The reported number of crimes increased starting in 2015. Yeah, true. This is the site I just put on screen. Yeah, so technically he is right. You know, that crime has increased according to this website, you know, but the context that he's trying to frame it in is that this is Trudeau's fault, right? Which I fail to see the correlation, to be honest. Wonder when Ford will start his cop city. True. Any day. Because people can't swallow the price tag. Yeah, right? And I mean, to his credit, Pierre is tapping into some real concerns that Canadians have, but he is misdiagnosing what the actual problems are, and like the root of the problems, and he's just virtue signaling by pointing the finger at who is supposedly the boogeyman, and instead of offering any real solutions.
You are responsible for the criminal code, for the borders that bring in the illegal guns. You are responsible for our national police force. And after 8 years, you have given Canadian cities that are turning into crime zones. This is your record.
It's proven that housing first works. True. Yeah.
Mr. Trudeau. Meanwhile, illegal border crossings have exploded, crossings that were almost unheard of when you took office. This is 8 years. You told
illegal border crossings? What does this mean? Is this in relation to guns or in relation to immigration?
us that better was always possible, and yet everything is worse, and you blame everyone else. And we know.
Okay, actually, to Trudeau's credit, I don't think he does blame everyone else. Like does he dodge and deflect? Yes, but I don't think he blames it. I guess when you're the prime minister, right? Like, who else can you blame? Like, so it's probably not even something that would like be a good strategy for Trudeau to like start blaming who. He's the prime minister. Oops.
You will do this session of Parliament. You will divide to distract. You'll try to make people afraid of each other, because you think that if an average Canadian is afraid of his neighbor, he'll forget that he can't feed himself or pay the rent.
So I guess this to me is now feeling all like projection. Like you know, I feel like Poilievre is the one who's trying to make us all scared and fearmonger and point the finger at other people.
Try to take all of the responsibility off of yourself and to put it on others. You'll claim you have nothing to do with any of these files, as though, as a federal prime minister, you're not responsible for the federal criminal code. As a federal prime minister, you're not responsible for the chaotic federal airports. That as a federal prime minister, you're not responsible for the $500 billion of federal debt that you have added. That led
Well, as the federal leader of the opposition, are you not also responsible?
To a 40-year high in inflation. If you're not responsible for any of these things, if you can't do anything about it, then why don't you get out of the way and let someone lead who can?
That's what he means by remove the gatekeepers. He just wants Justin Trudeau to step down so he can be the prime minister. Oh man, like I just want to see Poilievre get like so cucked if there was an election. Like I just want him to lose so bad, just so that all of this like stupid rhetoric will just like fall on its face. He's got a wee-wee. PP has a wee-wee. That's true.
Leadership means turning the hurt that Trudeau has caused into the hope that Canadians need and deserve. Canadians are good, decent, hardworking people. They deserve better than this, and better is what they will get.
But when? When, Pierre?
Our Poilievre government will cap government spending, cut the waste, and fire the high-priced consultants so that we can put the money back in the pockets of our people.
Now, when he says our people, he means conservatives.
We'll toughen corruption laws to expose the insiders who are getting rich by making everyone else poor. We will, instead of tripling, and tripling.
Okay, like as if, I just hate this. The conservatives just cannot be the everyman, the hero of the working class people. It's not possible.
The carbon tax as Trudeau plans. We will axe the tax and we will use technology instead of taxes to protect our environment.
Okay. He's going to use technology instead of taxes. How is he going to pay for the technology? How's he going to pay for the technology to be, educate people, be created or purchased and maintained? How's he going to pay for it? Not through taxes.
You'll remove the gatekeepers so that our brilliant immigrants can again work as doctors and nurses and have big, powerful, inflation-proof paychecks. We will remove the gatekeepers that stand in the way of our small businesses creating jobs and opportunities. We will remove the gatekeepers.
Have you ever been to a prominent conservative's house? The first thing you see when you go to a conservative's house is like the gate.
So that our First Nations can take back control of their lives and their resources and generate massive opportunities for their young people to build skills, to fund water systems that work, and to take care of their people and take control of their lives.
It's just buzzwords for the base. I know. It's so sad. I do think, First Nations do need drinking water. I think this was like a talking point that got co-opted also by the convoy crowd, was it not? Did I not see something at some point where the convoy was all just like clean drinking water on First Nations? And it's like, okay, yeah, we all agree, but how? Remember when they sent First Nations body bags? Wait, what? If you don't want PP, vote strategically. That's it. I don't personally believe in strategic voting. I believe in electoral reform so that we never have to vote strategically ever again. And whatever party is willing to support electoral reform, that's the one I'm for.
We will divert money that's being wasted targeting law-abiding hunters and anglers, and instead use that money to reinforce our borders and keep the smuggled guns out. And we will use that money to provide real treatment and recovery to save the lives of our friends, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters who are suffering with addiction.
They're going to build a wall? We have no choice until that day. Well, strategic voting, it just like it doesn't work though. That's the other thing. The problem with strategic voting is it disenfranchises people. So I even if it were to theoretically work, the messaging of strategic voting is essentially, hey, you shouldn't vote for who you want to vote for. You should vote for who other people want you to vote for. And that further disenfranchises people. So I would subtly disagree with you here, Lady District. We tried really hard in Ontario to do the strategic voting thing the last election. There was entire organizations dedicated to it, and what did we get? One of the lowest voter turnouts that handed us a conservative majority. So I disagree with strategic voting wholeheartedly, just because its messaging is really, really I think antithetical to democracy. So during a particularly bad flu season, Harper sent body bags to an indigenous community instead of medication. Oh my god. Right. I think that's like coming back to me now. An NDP Lib coalition better than a CPC government. True. But I just think that, that coalition is going to just have to be something that occurs from the NDP and Liberals running as good of a campaign as they can, not strategic voting. I think it was flu season. People are already disenfranchised. This is the line we have to hold. I agree that this like Liberal NDP coalition is harm reduction. I just disagree with strategic voting. That's what it comes down to. And that's why I would vote NDP over Liberal, because they actually believe in electoral reform, whereas the Liberals have proven that they don't.
We will close the illegal border crossings and get rid of the backlog that holds back 1.1 million immigrants and allow families to be reunited, jobs to be filled, and refugees to be rescued from danger. We will restore the hope that Justin Trudeau and his government have destroyed over the last 8 years. We will once again make this a country where hard work pays off, where people keep more of every...
Where you live, a Lib will never win? Well, does that mean it's like between the cons and the NDP, or what's up with that? But yeah, I guess like in our riding, the Liberals probably have the best chance. It really depends on who's running, I suppose.
Every dollar they earn, so that they can get ahead. We will remember that a dollar in the hands of the person who earned it is always better spent than in the hands of the politician or bureaucrat who taxed it. We will restore the hope and the promise that is Canada. We all grew up here, told that no matter where we started, if we worked hard, we could do anything. And I remember that when I was a kid. My folks that...
Holy shit. So this is this was during swine flu. Ottawa sends body bags to Manitoba reserves. Don't send us body bags. Help us organize. Send us medicine. Grand Chief David Harper. My goodness. That is just insane and completely dehumanizing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they put like smallpox in those body bags. Jesus Christ.
Adopted me from a 16-year-old unwed mother. They're a couple of teachers. We grew up in a normal South End Calgary suburban neighborhood. But they always taught me that it didn't matter where I came from. It mattered where I was going. It didn't matter who I knew. It mattered what I could do. That is the country to which my wife came as a refugee. That is the country I want my children to inherit. That is the country that we are going to restore for...
Inherit. It's funny to say that your children would inherit the country. Is that not a little weird? Like, is he running to be the prime minister, or is he running to be king?
Every single Canadian, a country where people are free to earn a living and share the proceeds with their families, free to walk safely in their streets, free to have a secure retirement that they've worked for all their lives. A Canada where people take back control of their lives in the freest country on earth. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
we are free to do all those things. It's just that we can't freely access all of those things. And I don't see Pierre Poilievre offering any actual solutions.
Let's get to work. Let's bring it home. Thank you.
Let's bring it home. All right, that's it. Glad handing, handshakes. That's it. So Pierre Poilievre, not the solution to any of our problems. Please, if you're a working class Canadian, don't be fooled by his rhetoric. He doesn't actually stand for any of us. He stands for conservatives, and we see the damage that conservatives do. Like right here in Ontario, a lot of the problems that Pierre Poilievre is talking about there are actually problems of Doug Ford. It's problems of conservatism and neoliberalism, and it has very little to do with Pierre Poilievre pointing the finger and not offering any solutions. So please, working class Canadians, don't be duped. The best chance that we have at harm reduction in our current state is the NDP and the Liberals working together. I don't think the Conservatives are interested in working together with anyone. And the best we can ask for, sadly, again, I'm not someone who supports the NDP or the Liberal Party, but it is a form of harm reduction by having them hold this coalition. Well, it's not this quote unquote coalition that they're currently working with in Ottawa.